smooth and as fine as I possibly can. And then I mix in some cement. I prefer to use a dyed cement. I don't like the color of undyed cement. It looks too much like an urban sidewalk spread on the exterior of my beautiful log cabin. So I prefer to buy it pre-dyed. I find the mixture is more consistent this way, and I use a brand known as Flamingo C74. I'm often asked what is the material that I use for chinking, whether or not I use one of the new synthetic products to chink a log home. And the answer to that is a definitive no, that I do not, and it's for a multiple number of reasons. For one thing, it's not necessary. I don't see where it offers any more protection than a cement-based product. Number two is that it is a faux product. It is a plastic product, and when you're building something that is as natural of a home as what a wood log home is, why do we want to use a synthetic plastic on it? That plastic trying to look like a cement is kind of an oxymoron. It's sort of like vinyl trying to look like siding and wood siding, and that is the fact that it never does look like wood siding. Number three would be that I've never trusted any plastic petroleum products to hold up to ultraviolet light exposure. I've had plenty of children in my life that have had their plastic toys through the yard, and pretty much we end up throwing it away by the end of the summer because it just doesn't hold up well. It is an expensive product. It drives up the cost of your home. It is not a pleasurable material to work with. It requires more trouble with cleanup of not only your tools, of the job site, of your clothing, and of your hands. So for all of those reasons, I avoid it. I use a natural cement. I add in enough water just to get the mixture so that it works well. I don't want it too runny nor too dry. The first step in chinking a home is, first of all, proper preparation of your logs to make sure that you're ready. Chinking is generally the last thing that you do on the exterior of your home. You come on the outside of it and you put up a diamond mesh plaster lathing, and nailed securely and top and bottom, and tight and straight. With the diamond mesh recessed at the top in order that the logs will form a nice drip edge, and flush with the bottom, at the bottom of the chink joint, flush with the face of the log that is there. I then carefully trowel on the cement on the exterior, on the plaster lathing, making sure to cover everything and try to get it as tight as I can with no gaps around the edges. Now, I've heard some express that cement is not the best material to use with logs, that cement will rot logs. But keep in mind that the amount of cement that I'm applying to this log is just a narrow, thin layer on the inside and the outside. And that this little bit of cement contacting a log is not going to rot it. If a log is buried in cement, I can see where there would be some drying out effect that would occur. But I've gone back to log cabins that I have chinked this way 30 years ago. There is no sign of any damage to the logs whatsoever. And that I know of other log cabins that have been chinked in similar ways that are well over 50 years. And by the way, all of those chink joints are still holding true and solid today. None have needed any replacement at all throughout my entire career. I consider chinking to be the third most important aspect of the construction of a log home. Number one being the design. If you start out with an ugly design, you're going to end up with a ugly log cabin. This number two being the quality of the logs you use. That's the essence of what your home is, so you want to use the best logs you can. But number three is beyond a doubt is the chinking, and that is that if chinking is done properly, you will have a warm, cozy log cabin during the winter time, and you will have one that will be free of rot for decades to come. During the course of my career, the number one call for my services has been chinking. In particular, most importantly, in the removal of previous chinking that was done improperly and has now led to rot. If a log cabin is chinked improperly, within a matter of 2 or 3 years, rot is already taking hold. And if you leave it alone within 10 to 20 years, you can end up with a loss of your entire log home. So chinking is clearly important. One thing I can say about re-chinking a log cabin, and that is that it costs 3 times as much to have someone come in and to remove chinking that's been improperly done and to repair the damage that has occurred to the logs during that time, and then to do it right in the first time. So it's always smart to do things right the first time.